happening, guys? Today we're gonna be doing a review. Actually, today we'll be teaching you how to do the oil change on your own jet ski. So we're gonna be doing the oil change for the Rxt-X, which is the same as the RXP-300. They have the same motor, I believe, so it's gonna be useful for any of you guys watching this video. Definitely stay tuned, and I will be giving you a detailed information on how to make the oil change happen. I'll be letting you know what tools exactly you need to use, so stay tuned. I'm actually on the way now to pick up the oil and the spark plugs. These things can be pretty pricey. I don't remember when I used to do the oil change on my Yamaha, the kit being so expensive. They're charging me $10 for spark plugs and $70 for the oil kit, which it includes the filter and oil, which I believe is 3 quarts, maybe 4 max. So I think that's pretty expensive, but you know, it is a hobby, and I know every hobby is pretty expensive. I'm just not used to it. I don't remember spending that much money on my Yamaha whenever I needed to do the oil change. I think the Yamaha kit was like 40-50 bucks, the most I ever paid. If you guys know any good websites or anything like that gives good discounts, please let me know. I definitely would love to look into that. But if you have and if you do it yourself, I recommend it to be a lot cheaper. Anybody could charge you, you know, the minimum that, at least down here in Miami, if someone charges like 160 bucks, you know, this is a no-brainer. Anybody can do it. All right, so we actually made it here to where we're gonna pick up the oil. See what they got. All right, guys, so I just came out of there. I got the spark plugs and the oil. This is how much they charge for everything. It was $106.96. That's what you expect to get. And then in the kit, you're gonna have a box like this, right? And then as soon as you open it, you're gonna see the oil filter. You have the oil filter with your with the O-rings to replace for the new ones, and you have here a gallon synthetic oil. You won't be using the gallon. You'll probably be using like 3 quarts, because you're never gonna get everything out of it, but who knows, just in case it's there, it's always good to have an extra gallon. And then these are the spark plugs that you're gonna be using. These don't come with the kit, but he already put them in there for me. This hobby could be very expensive. Yes, indeed. Actually, I spent on accessories alone about $2,000, you know, besides the ski itself and the whole down payments and all that. Which, if you guys would like to know, you know, what is the payments and something like this, and how much I put down, and the interest and all that, please let me know, and I'll see if I can do a review on that. But definitely between everything, the GPS, VHF radio and all that, I spent the ladder, you know, all the other little extra accessories, the guard net that goes into storage, and a few other little things that I bought here and there, bumpers and all that. You can easily spend $2,000, you know, in accessories alone. So, by the way, whenever I do the speed test, I am gonna do it with the GPS. So it's not gonna be based off the speedometer of the Wave Runner. I'm gonna do one with the GPS, so we can see the actual top speed that these equipments run. And then later on, we'll probably do like a reflash, and then we'll figure out, you know, see how many miles they increase it got just with the reflash. This here is a little small pump that I bought. So instead of having to pump out the oil, you could just plug it into electricity, to a battery or anything, and it will pump out the oil for you. And then if you see here, this on my other jet ski, this was very handy. On this one, it doesn't really need it, because you could just put this tube into the oil dipstick and it goes straight down. But so I'm gonna have to take that off, but this is the equipment that I have here. And then here you just plug this in to this little oil canister that I have for it, which I'll show you that in a few minutes. So this is one of the great tools that I bought at Harbor Freight. and it's pretty much a magnetic that you can put all your screws here and make sure you don't lose them. It stays all in one place, and they stick onto this because it's magnetic, like I said. And it has a rubber piece on the back, which is very helpful. So if you're gonna stick it on to something, it's not scratching the surface. Okay, so this is one of the tools that I'm using. I'm one of the persons that believe that every job has the correct tool. So if you see here, it makes a perfect fit for this one. Now this one doesn't say, for some reason, Harbor Freight didn't put them on there, or their tools. But this is a T30, which if you see this one here, this is don't know if you can see that, but it's T30. It's pretty much the same fit there. So it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 10 of them all the way around, and then you'll be able to access the filter, which is right in there. You're gonna see that now. You also want to make sure that these brackets here, you pop them out. Just makes it easier, so they don't fall inside. So you have here, which this is the same as this. I just since I already broke them loose, now I can use it. So this is the 10mm wrench that is gonna pretty much hold these two nuts from the inside while I unscrew the top. Very important thing, make sure whenever you're taking this off, you put your finger right under this, because if not, what happens is the nut is going to fall into the hole, and most likely you're going to have a hell of a time trying to find it. So here you have a washer, and here is the nut, which it would have fallen off if I didn't. So what I like to do in this case, I just put the nut on there, just like that. It should be good. And the same thing goes on this side. Careful with these clips when you're taking them out. They're plastic, so they're very fragile, and it looks very easy for them to fall out. Now here in the top two, you won't need it because obviously there's a nut that is holding on the bottom. But on these, they can break very easily. That's why I like to hand unscrew them and hand torque them. Other than that, you shouldn't have any issues with them. You see here is the whole assembly. Engine assembly. You have the batteries right there, so if you ever have an issue with the battery, and it looks like whenever they were putting this together, they didn't do such a good job, because you see this is pretty much hanging out. This should be secure. I'll fix that later. I don't want to get my hands all greasy now. Alright, so next step that I want to do, pretty much have this cleaned out so I can put it in the dipstick to drain all the oil. You obviously want to make sure that this is off, which it is, so when I connect this to the power, it doesn't crank on. So luckily I have battery here right handy. Oh, by the way, this here is a system. It drains into this, which this is a gallon. So obviously you're not gonna get more than a gallon. This is already cleaned out because I just cleaned it. Put it in through here. Till you feel it touch the bottom. Okay, there I feel on the bottom. By the way guys, I did crank the engine and I had it a little warmed up so it could be easier, so that will make the process faster and easier for you. Another thing that I noticed is when I took off this cover from here, all these components here, there was salt on it. Well, there still is. I have to clean it before I put it back together. So somehow the salt is getting here, and I have not flipped this thing, or I have not driven it too crazy yet. So that is something you guys should be aware of. Every once in a while, take it apart and clean it. So here it goes. Crank it on. And a second. There it is. Look at it go. This looks like it's good to go. Bring this out, and then as it comes out, just wipe it. Now we're gonna move to the oil filter. I put the extension just because it makes it a little bit easier. Remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. So I can see there's actually some dirt on there. So we're gonna be removing this guy here. Well, that wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I just wanted to grab it on camera for you guys. So I'm just gonna clean this out. I'll be back with you guys. It's all cleaned up. We have this piece here. It's all cleaned up as well. The only thing that we have to do now is change the seals. Okay, so this is the new oil filter. So this is the filter, and then you have the two seals, which is what these here are. It's a little bit harder to do it on with gloves. Alright, so you remove this one, which is going to be replaced for the fatter one, obviously. You see there. Not the fatter one, the same one, but it's the fatter one between both of them. Obviously, you want to put a little bit of oil on this whenever you put it back on. And then the smaller one, this is pretty much a very thin flathead. You don't want to like pinch it in there, you just want to make sure. As soon as you got that, you're pretty much all set. Comes out. It's the old one, and you put the new one back on there. Same procedure to put it back on. Hold it there and just stretch it all the way around. You don't want to pull it too much. And be careful it doesn't go on the first groove where the fatter one should be at. Once you have that, you put a little bit of oil on it. Alright, so we have this all lubed up, ready to go back in. And this one, when I took it off, the old one, I noticed the letters were facing up to the top. I don't believe that really matters, but just in case, I will put them the same exact way with the letters facing up. Put this back in here. It's going in nice and easy, so that's how you know it's the thread is right. You don't want to over torque it, just a nice tug there. And you want to make sure it's good all the way around. Yeah, it looks fine. And pretty much you grab the oil and pull the oil back in and just measure the oil from the dipstick. That's pretty much the whole oil change when it comes to one of these machines. Shouldn't take you longer than say about 45 minutes without experience. Alright, so if you can see, we should be here and it's right there. So we're almost there.